I just recently purchased this Harbor Freight 16 gauge air nibbler, fresh out of the box. Never used it before this. Got to say, it does work pretty good. This is just a little video of the fun I had learning how to use it, some of the things I learned, and a little modification I made to it to stop them chips from flying everywhere. So I'm lifting this sheet up to cut it, and he says, what'd you say?
So go ahead and cut all of them.
And I said, sure, why not? He says, you got a plasma cutter, you can cut all of them, and laughs. But this thing's supposed to cut 16 gauge metal, and these are like the thickness of tin foil, so I'm going to give this Harbor Freight cutter a little test and see if it will cut 4 sheets of this. I'm going to have to clamp them down real good because I don't want to make a mistake on 4 sheets at one time.
You want to cut a little bit on the end so you can try it since you're going to have a little left over?
Yeah, that would, I mean, yeah, because I'm going to have a foot left of each piece. The guy makes a lot of sense, you know. Why not try it on what's going to be scrapped just to make sure it's going to work? So, yeah, because I'm going to have a foot or so of scrap, so
yeah.
Just put a little cut on the end and see what happens. Good. Let's get this clamp together and give it a shot. This is the first run of this air nibbler straight out of the box. I turned it 90 degrees. Some people say you can't do that, but we're going to see how it works. All right, it will quickly move off to one side. You have to hold it against the guide because I didn't hold it tight against the guide, and it just, as soon as I touched the button, it walked towards me. So, well, she jammed up. I'm doing that because I'm letting off the trigger. It's not really doesn't really work on variable speed. Right there, the nut. So I have to use something thinner on top of it to guide it because the nut's going to keep coming against and going away as I go up and down. So we learned something. All right, we're going to get a different guide plate and try again. All right, we've got a thinner guide plate this time so that every time it rides down into the valley, I don't hit the nut right there. So we're going to give this a try. And I'm glad you decided that I should do this on a test piece. Once you start the cut, don't let up on the trigger. All right, I think what's happening is because I'm cutting multiple sheets, it's a little bit too thick at the top of the curves. And it binds.
I think it's just having trouble making that
The radius at the top. So what I think what's happening is it gets a little thicker as it goes over the curve because this is low, you know, being the whole height of the thing.
Yeah.
And then I may be letting up or down because I noticed on the last couple that if I went down or up a little bit, it seemed to go on through it. But man, does that leave a nice edge. I mean, for something that's just been hacked off, that's a nice, straight, smooth, especially for an amateur running it. And it cut all 4 sheets. So I think I'm good to go with cutting 4 sheets at a time. Woo! So we've got these little chips everywhere, and I just can't help myself. Got some wiring conduit, wiring loom that hasn't been cut, and I'm going to see if I can run a little duct right there, up around, and hook a vacuum cleaner to it, see if we can catch some of those, because I can't help myself. So I tie that to that. There's going to be a lot of tape involved in this, I'm sure. Because, hey, prototyping, man, prototyping.
Yeah, I figured I'd give you all a little behind the scenes.
That like that. Uh-oh, the world's gonna come to an end. We're almost out of duct tape. The beautiful part of this is there's quite a bit of oil on things here, so and you know, if this works, then maybe there's some 3D printing involved and we make one out of ABS. Rather than use a tie wrap around there, I'm just going to use some more tape. Which skill level do we operate at? Tie wraps or tape?
Yes.
Which is a higher skill level?
Being able to use both.
Oops. That's not going to work. That's the air outlet. Let's try to miss the air outlet. Gotta leave that open. That should hold it long enough for a test, huh?
Yeah.
All right, we'll just cut this off, stick it in a vacuum cleaner and give it a shot. All right, we're gonna have to fire up the vacuum cleaner when we start this, so it's gonna get really loud. We're gonna see how this thing works. All right, switch on. I would have to say it looks like that worked. I mean, there were a few metal chips on here from before when we did it.
Yeah,
but,
that's nothing like it was.
yeah, but like I said, we never vacuumed that part off. So
Yeah, all those are from the last time.
yep.
Anything
Because there's
you see
nothing.
there.
There's nothing back here where we just got through cutting.
Yeah.
So that worked. All right, let's see how it does cutting 2 sheets. Go ahead and switch on my vacuum for me. All right, 2 sheets of metal, take 2. Switch on. That's where that screaming comes from. Whistles through the end of the tube. All right, one thing's for certain, you gotta have it at exactly the right angle or it drags on this back edge right here. And if it, I think smoothing the edges of this off a little bit with a file on both sides these outer edges. See how it's flanged coming in? And it's got a flare coming in on the top. I think smoothing these edges down a little bit would keep it from hanging up so much, because you can actually see where the radius of that edge hooks if you're not perfectly square. But it does a good job. I'm happy with it. I'm very happy with it. Matter of fact, I bought one for my brother. I bought his first and then I bought mine. So in hindsight, the corrugated tube may not have been such a good idea. I probably should have shook it a little while the vacuum was running, because when I disconnected it and it bumped against the bottom, all this fell out of it. Oh well, we'll vacuum that mess up and remember that we gotta shake the tube a little bit. We're just gonna smooth these edges off right here a little bit so that they don't bite in. Oh yeah, I can feel them smoothing off. The file gets easier and easier to move with every stroke. And then we're going to do a little test cut after we do this and see how it performs. You just want to make sure you don't hit this pin while you're doing that. Down inside there. Don't drop the file all the way in. Alrighty. Alright, so I have to say that worked a whole lot better. There's hardly any noticeable scarring. It moved a lot smoother. No scarring on that. So just getting rid of the burrs off the edges of the cutter really helped a lot. Would I buy this thing again? Heck yeah, I would. Heck, I like it so much I bought my brother one. I bought his first. He told me it was pretty good, so I bought one. This definitely helped. Got the chips under control. Making it out of a smoother piece of hose might help a little bit, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with the way this one worked. Once I smoothed the edges down, that helped a little bit with the catching when I was cutting through multiple sheets. If you do one sheet at a time, you shouldn't have any problem at all. Look down in the video description, because what I'm going to try to do is find replacement heads for this, and when I find a replacement head that fits this, I will put that link in the video description. That should help out quite a few people if it ever breaks. Look for a video coming soon on this thing. The eBay gods have finally delivered. Alright, well, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and we'll see what else we can get into. Thanks for watching. Test cut.